Hello, Brian. Is that you?
Hello, Kiko. Yes, yes. Why?
Hello. Hello. Good to see you again. I hear may
Yeah,
attendance
same.
checks daw, may attendance check daw tayo ah.
Oo nga eh. Sana na-check yung attendance natin. Pati
Attendance
si
natin.
Kobe.
Yun lang pala yung ano natin. Welcome and hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Quiver Podcast. And today we'll be recapping that game 1 win by the De La Salle Green Archers over the University of Philippines Alarcon campus to, to take a 1-0, 1-0 series lead in the UAP Finals for Season 88. Brian, what a game yesterday.
What a game. Grabe.
Diba? Goal has never lost a game one in his fight. He's been in the finals 5 years, and it's the first time losing a game one. And was this something you expected yesterday? What are your expectations going to the game?
My expectation was for us to at least not get beaten by 30 if we want to compete. Di ba man daming narratives internet? Siyempre, Lasal side, UP side, everyone will have those, alam mo yun, parang this happened before, so this can happen again. Parang ako, kung magcha-champion man tayo ulit, sana wag naman tayo tambakan ng 30 sa MOA. Kasi diba, nag-absolve na ako ng game 1 eh. Nag-abstain na ako, umalis na ako. So, gahag sa game 2 na lang ako manood. But yeah, my expectation simply was for us to continue that rhythm on offense. And actually, we'll talk a bit more about that. But just to sum it up sa akin, parang kulang pa. But still, we got the win. So maybe that's a sign of better things to come, diba? How about you? What did you expect from your side?
It was an interesting. I really felt. I don't know. We're not supposed to do prediction on the show. I really felt that because of how the season has gone so far, because of beating them twice, that UP was due a game. I felt it was good. It might have come in game 1, so I was happy that we were able to pull this off in this way, and it was really great to do it in that fashion. And we'll discuss in this episode why. We also, Brian, we had submissions on Instagram and Facebook, and we'll be reading your shout outs as well on your thoughts on the game. That's great. Also, before we start, guys, this is the main episode of the show. We've had a chance to relax, sit back, absorb everything, discuss. But if you want the raw reactions of yesterday's game, please check out our 2 Quiver quickies that we uploaded last night. Just with the guys, did a great job, and joined by the Dean, Mr. Kenito Henson himself, giving his thoughts on last night's game and his preview for game 2. So yeah, so interesting things. Thank you to the Dean for showing up. That was a surprise, Brian.
Yeah. I know. Speaking of what I was just saying, naalala ko na nakausap ko din si Kinito and nilagay na natin yun sa episode natin back in season 86. So I don't know. I mean, yan yung mga narrative coping stuff. But yeah. At least mas maayos na siya. I mean, mas maayos na niya nag-gather yung thoughts niya kasi hindi tayo talo ng 30, naalala ko. But he still maintained the same belief even then. So
pinaghadaan niya. So check it out, guys. It gave good thoughts. Right about for those who worried about the free throws. Check it out. Anyway, we missed the last 4 free throws last night, Brian. We still won the game somehow. It's not to be. But okay, let's start to get into the game here, Brian. But first, I think we have to start off this conversation. I know it's a team win, a team effort, but Jacob Cortez, right? We would not be in the situation, Brian, without Jacob. He carried us through that through key games in the elimination round. He carried us through that NU series. Buhat kung buhat. Now, he kept up, set up in big moments during this game. Was sat down for most of the fourth quarter. He was playing good. He was playing well. I have to say, he was playing well. But Jacob, Lasal up 1, time winding down. Last minute in the game, he makes a step back 3 to give us a 4-point lead, and the lead for good. What can you say about that? Walk us through the experience where I've seen him walking. Were you confident of him? I was hoping to go for a 2 personally. It's like don't risk 3 too early for that. But if you can make big shots like that, I guess you can't doubt Jacob anymore. What are your thoughts on that one?
That's really just ice cold composure kasi ayoko din yung tres, to be honest. And I think the UP coaching team, they probably would have preferred a three than, let's say, a drive to the basket. When I was thinking about it, of course, when we have hindsight is 2020, I was just happy na pumasok yun. That's the only time of the game when I was watching that I exclaimed anything because I knew it was a big shot. As in, if that was a miss, we expect UP to. I mean, if they get the rebound, we expect them to really run like how they do and have a transition basket. That's how they did the Bano earlier sequence that brought that lead down to one. So sa akin parang so it's really a blessing to have someone like Jacob who's not shy to take these kinds of shots. We've seen it even during his unbedded days, and then maganda na nagta-translate siya into the UAP because that's always the question mark, I guess, for players like Jacob who move from one league to another. Will your game translate to a different league where it's not necessarily better, but obviously the play styles are different. So when we say that and he delivers, I think it speaks a lot about his character. When he gets interviewed, he really just says that may abound siyang confidence. And I guess this is what the LaSalle faithful are looking for. Players who, I mean, tayo, may natural air of angas eh. I think that's what has the characteristics of championship teams of LaSalle. But sometimes the problem is if nasasobrahan yung angas, I think with Jacob, it's not too much. He knows he's good. He knows he works well. That's why he keeps on getting better. But at the same time, hindi naman, alam mo yun, it's not getting too much ahead of himself. And that play, parang, alam mo yun, pwede natin sabihin, pwede siya magyabang all he wants because of what he does. But he's not that, wala pa tayo sa level na yun. So, that's really...
It really reminds me of his dad. I know you don't like to do comparisons, but si Mike Curtis, when he used to play, Bri, he knew he was better than you. He knew he could do what he wanted to you at most times. But he would do it, and he would do it as cool as a cat. Hence, Cool Cat nga yung nickname niya. And now we have, what you said in the last episode, clutch cat na si Mike Curtis. So they were joking around the last episode. I have to say this one, Bright. He's really not the clear go-to person, go-to man in the dying moments. We want the ball clearly in Jacob Cortez. Last year, we had, right, KQ. I guess he was our go-to, but this year, we've wondered who will take that last shot for LaSalle. We were, I mean, at the start of the season, who would be that main go-to guy with KQ leaving. And I guess we now have a clear answer. Jacob is that guy, and he's proven it throughout this season. A big shot after big shot after big shot. So I guess the conversation now, Brian, is he already among? We've had so many clutch players. Is he one of the greatest clutch players for the Green Archers in the UAP, even this early in his first year with LaSalle?
Mm-hmm. I think it's safe to say, naman, that he has credentials to be among them. The qualifier here is, would you feel comfortable if the ball is in his hands rather than someone else's when he's on the court? And I think to many people's minds, the answer is yes. Marami na nga naghahanap sa kanya, di ba? Kasi nga he got that quarter rest, di ba? And alam mo yan, if natalo, maybe that game 3 scenario where we also didn't have Kevin down the stretch, that would have been brought up again. I think if
I have PTSD flashbacks at that point,
exactly.
Right?
I mean, I think these are the risks that the coaching staff are taking naman. But at the same time, like what you said, Kian was holding the fort well without Jacob, and it was parang every minute that Kian was doing well, it meant Jacob could preserve himself, not just physically, I think more mentally. Alam mo yun? Kasi I think there are games and there are spells in the season where Jacob struggled. Initially, nung UST round 1, remember how many turnovers he committed there? I think he suffered from mental fatigue there rather than physical fatigue, and nababasa na siya ng UST. So I think it really helped for Jacob to get that reset. And yun nga, it's so cool for him to just step on the court, make a 3, have a say, and that's first blood.
It comes so natural. I mean, he's not forcing anything.
Yeah.
And I try to look back, try to compare the past, like go-to guys, clutch players in the South history. I'm sure we had KQ, of course, had that big game too last year in the finals. We had players like, I guess, Jeron Teng, guys who you won't have the ball, JV Casio, Ren, right? These guys, Mac Joseph, these guys who you'd be really comfortable having the ball in those dying do or die moments, right? Dying minutes of the game. I get one perspective as well is I like to see it's not just, you're right, Bri, how comfortable we are. Like, okay, Jacobs got this. I also like to see is how nervous the opponent is when these kinds of players have the ball. Yan to.
Yes.
That's a good sign. Parang, right? You certain player, like we certain player, like we joke around, like diba? We have the game in Aljo Mariano and Jeric Teng, diba? those kinds of situations in the lens from the other side. I guess Jacob has now reached that point where he has that respect and he has that resume, that CV, that when he gets that ball in die moments, opponents will be nervous. Opposing crowd will be nervous. That Jacob has the ball. What can he do here? He will make something happen here. I guess that's a good sign. If their opponents are afraid that you have the ball, that's one of the signs you are a clutch player. You make a ba? We've seen that. We've been on the other end of that too, Brian.
Yeah.
Countless times.
We had opponents na we want them to deny as much as we can. Pero syempre, hindi naman nangyayari.
Whatever happens, make sure he doesn't have the ball, di ba? Happens. So I guess that's one of the things I say that Jacob is really in that pantheon already of green archers who are known to be clutch, even this early in his career. So that's a great sign, and a great sign for our championship hopes. Every championship needs that kind of player, so it's a good sign for us. Now we've talked about Jacob. Let's talk about a bit about the game. It was really a tight game. I know UP at one point led as much as 9 in that second half, but in that first half, no one team could really pull away. It was 4, 5, back to 1, switching leads. It's back and forth. Talk about the first half with us, and maybe we can start talking about how big a game Doi Dungo had out of nowhere for us.
Yeah, let's look back at why Doi Dungo was brought on to the game. Let's remember that he did play the Saturday do-or-die game against NU, but that did not deter him at all. Pinasok siya sa game kasi nagkaroon ng 2 quick fouls si EJ Gallena. I think both from defending Harold Alarcon. So Alarcon, I think, made 5 points off that, and EJ picked up 2 fouls, and Dungo was brought onto the court. I think if not the following sequence nung nalabas si EJ, the next one, he hit a 3, and then yun nga, also made a couple of end-one plays, and I couldn't say he did well defensively, but at least did enough, parang just to keep us ahead narrowly towards the finish, and that stabilized the team. I think one characteristic of our wins recently is that there's always this spark plug. I think that's the term to describe players. Spark, because you already know the likes of Jacob, Mike, to an extent Kian, their outputs are quite steady. Actually, si Boris nga, he also had a steady spell. Ngayon lang siya nag-less than 10 points. But still, yun nga, it wouldn't matter that much if meron yung mga spark plugs like si Earl delivered, and then now si Doi providing that spark. Because without these sparks, syempre we'd be behind by much more, and I'm not sure how we would have dealt with that adversity in game 1, knowing that game 1 has been a barrier. We haven't won any game 1 since 2016. So parang it's good to
nga. That's a good point, Brian. It's something we're not used to. It's a good feeling to have that one. Not have your backs against that second game.
Yeah.
I think, Bri, to your point about Doyes and how you're also, I loved your point about saying we were rotating people, and everyone was contributing in their own ways, right? I remember one of the reasons in that first round that we were struggling is we didn't seem to find the right balance of rotating players, lineups, right? And when Mason Kian went down, we were saying maybe this opportunity to really, less bodies on the court, less things to think about. You're forced into certain combinations. Maybe that's the way we can figure out what's the right rhythm for this team. And to a certain extent, we did. Kian Mason came back, and they've made key contributions. And I guess it's the first time this season I've seen everything so smooth in terms of how we, paano tinitimpla ni Coach Topex yung pasok ng mga insertions to, and even for some of the UP benefactors terms, insertions into the line, to the court, the timpla niya. And it's worked out well for us. It's one of the concerns we had going to the NU series, right? It's worked well in the NU series. Credit to the Coach Topex and the rest of the staff for finding the right balance with this team. I think they're getting the most out of these players. And on the other end naman, Bri, we've had, of course, we had Jacob, we had Sally competitions. UP was a completely different story in terms of, it was really the Harold Aracon show. It was really
KBL mixtape daw, sabi ng mga tao sa social media.
Ito yung hype mix with the background EDM music na eh. Para ma-recruit, yun yung kulang doon eh.
Or baka K-pop kung Korea.
Ay, tama.
Yeah, but right. he really torched us, si Alarcon, and I think you're going there.
It wasn't bad. Ewa, Brian. For me, it wasn't bad defense. But we were challenging. I thought we were playing good, but he was making tough shots. Did you see it the same way?
Yes, definitely. Sabi ko, parang I was worried that if we'll lose it, it's just because of his endeavors. And alam mo yun, parang sinasabi ko rin yan nung Lasal NU game. Like, it would suck for Jacob if we couldn't get the win the way he was playing, because he was taking over in some spells, making big shots after big shots. And kay Harold ganun din. He really had a hot first half. I think he only missed once or twice at most in first half, and 20 points na yata siya nun eh. So parang sabi ko, is this that kind of game na maybe if he gets cold in the second half and someone else from them picks up the slack, then that can be dangerous for us. But apparently, it wasn't the case. Parang it was still Harold most of the way for them. And I guess that's something that UP will have to work on. Kasi syempre, okay yan if you have a player that can score 34 points. But if that also means na nasa-sacrifice yung production ng iba, that's where they might have to look for balance. Yeah. Because Harold, for what it's worth, pag may mga games siyang ganito hot hand, parang alam mo yun, yung sinasabi nila unconscious display, unconscious basketball, yung tipong he really just has his routines, he already, alam mo yun, naka-autopilot mode na to a certain degree. But it can only take you somewhere. Hindi ko sinasabing hindi niya dapat gawin yun ulit for them to do something. He can replicate it, but he has to have support siguro from them. Kasi I think if meron ulit siya or ibang tao ulit na gagawa ng ganyan sa game 2, we might be happy as long as we can defend everyone else.
Yeah, I think that was the key too, Brian. When we're talking about this UP team, it's if it's one player trying to beat us, we can live with that. I was maybe even Ruka when he was the second highest scorer for them, I believe today. So yes, okay, we can still stand that. But when it was Fortea contributing a bit, Torres was also there. Those are the moments that worried me, and thankfully we were able to contain them. It was all, and they were really reliant on Harold to carry the load for them and put the game, which they came up short. So that's a key, Brian, to beating UP, making sure that not everyone. It's not a team effort where make sure it's only one guy who beats you. Is that really the solution to beating this UP team?
I would like to go on record and say yes, because basketball is a team sport, and one man can only do so much. I know one man can influence it, but the way Alarcon played, 34 points, but only had 2 assists, parang kung 34 points and 10 assists, that would have meant at least 20 points, diba? From the others.
But I
offense
don't
influence.
blame him for not passing during sa init niya
Exactly.
kanina. I don't blame him
Yeah.
kung nagpasa if
Yeah.
I'm UP.
Exactly. Parang yun siguro yung naging problema. They didn't ask for the ball too much kasi they were confident that Harold can make the baskets, but what happens when he doesn't? Medyo di na highlight dito. A lot of his misses came in the second half, and I guess that's when our defense adjusted, and this would be highlighted by Pablo's block party. Nagpa-block party din
Oo.
si Luis Pablo eh. Naalala niya siguro yung mga defensive schemes nila nung practice ng season 86. So sabi niya, alam
Oo.
ko, ano to, lulundag to. So, kasi yung kay Alarcon, medyo clutch pa yung habol niya sa block eh. Pero yung kay Abadiano,
Yeah.
nung aangat na si Abadiano, if you saw
Yeah.
how that play evolved, alam mo na nung lulundag si Pablo, he will get there. Sana lang yung block got to a player, which gano'n naman nangyari. Kasi yung kay Alarcon, di ba, out of bounds. Kasi nga, ano siya, it was sudden.
Yeah, I guess we can go to that now. I know UP was 9. The second half, Kian, Jacob, Rosberg gives the lead, but it was aside from Jacob's big three, it was a Luis Pablo fourth quarter for us. One of the memories, or if we do pull this finals off, one of the legendary, memories will have will be really one of Pablo's big fourth quarter on both ends. I don't remember a UAB player having this much of impact on both ends for LaSalle in a finals game. Great showing from Pablo. Some big points in the paint, big defensive stops too with the blocks. I guess you're right, Brian. If I guess you're right. If I think those 2 years na sleeper cells siya sa UP paid off finally for him.
Yeah. Yeah. And one of our fellow fans, si Payship, sabi niya, Luis F. and Pablo with the muscle emoji. So, really paying tribute. Grabe, kung ano mang nickname niya. Alam ko marami siyang nickname online, pero I think we can consult si Patrice and their family. Also, shout out to them.
Okay, yeah.
Pinorward sa atin ni Willie, right? Diba? Parang, of course. Like, Patrice.
Shout out to Patrice and Davao for taking good care of Luis. Make sure to take good care, but not too much good care. Baka mapamper. May laro pa the Sunday.
Yeah.
So don't go overboard with the pamper. But yes, thank you for that. Shout out to them.
Yeah.
What else?
Talaga.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, go ahead, Ray.
No, I was just gonna add lang a bit. Pablo also didn't have a lot of impact on offense, but sabi naman niya sa interview, he's a defensive player, and the points, I couldn't say the points are the bonus kasi if wala yung 7 points niya, it's a different story, diba?
No,
All
definitely.
of those were in the fourth. But at the same time, parang, I guess he picks up his confidence from his defensive work, and parang wala siguro sa kanya yung scoring on offense if he couldn't deliver defensively. Because he had some games earlier in the season where he scored 8. I think nung talo tayo sa NU first round, parang ganun yata yung output niya. But yun nga, if the defense is not there for him, I don't think he'll be too happy. So that's good for him acknowledging his primary role. And from there, it's also good to see that he's not limited to his primary role. Baka, silbi ako sa depensa. Tapos, kaya ko rin naman score. So, diba, that's a good sign for him.
Yeah. Definitely considering Mason had a quiet game.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Phillips, by his standards, had a quiet game. Impact there in the end. Bright had a quiet game too. Luis stepping for us for because even that first round game too against UP, he was stepped up there in that game. Now he stepped up here to bring us the 1-0 lead. So I guess it was sweet for him. Imagine his story, Bright. This guy coming from LaSalle Green Hills, very star player in a very strong LaSalle Green Hills team, chooses to go to UP, doesn't get much playing time, and comes back home to LaSalle. I can only imagine what the thoughts are here. I can imagine what he must be going through to put out performance there to really prove his worth. And I guess I know there's a thing called seller's remorse, but for the UP, seeing how their bigs were outcompeted by a Luis Pablo who was already in there then is something, I guess, a painful sight for them.
Yeah, and siguro just to cap this Pablo segment, I'm happy for Luis Pablo. He's high-fiving balls now rather than high-fiving teammates. Diba? It's
much more impact. That's better.
Yeah, may
sa stat sheet yan, yung high fives wala.
Wala, social media stat sheet yung yung high fives.
Yun lang yan. PR points lang yan.
Yes.
Friend points lang yan. Yeah. But now looking overall at the game, Bri, what do you think were the keys for LaSalle to pull off this victory?
I really like our offensive rebounding. That created more opportunities, and at the end of the day, we had more field goal attempts than UP. Of course, every field goal attempt would help kasi diba, the percentages in the college game, well, actually not just in the college game, the percentages normally in a basketball game would be around 40 to 50. Well, pag college pa nga, maybe forgiving ka pa na 35 to 45. And both teams shot the ball around under 45% lang, which really spelled how close this game kasi they kind of mimicked each other in the production department. We beat them by having one more free throw, ironically, and one more 3-point shot. UP also missed some crucial free throws, so parang, but that we cannot control anymore. Nung nag-miss si Fortea ng dalawa, tapos the following free throw, si Mike pumasok ng dalawa, parang sabi ko, ano to characteristic to, bihira to mangyari, unicorn moment yun. So parang, when that happens, sabi ko, okay, maybe it could be ours. But the story for me talaga is limiting UP's fast break points, because we know they like to run. Nung pinakita nga namin sa film room ni Vic heading into the finals, yung dalawa namin pinakitang sequence dun is how UP can punish you from that transition, and both of them happened when UST could only bring down 3 guys on defense. Parang si Fortsky was late in the first one, and then si Akowe nadadapa siya nun. And UP can really pounce on those. But for us, we did a good job limiting them to 5 points. Yung last 2 nga dito sa 5 points nila, yung layup ni Alarcon after the scramble that left him open there. So isipin mo, without that, prior to that moment, it was only 3 fast break points for them. So that really helped us, because imagine if UP just had 10 more, given the way the game was going, we would have been down by 5 to 7 points more or less. And then I guess perimeter.
Ano yun, Bri?
Perimeter.
Kung may in an alternate universe where there's a Quiver na UP version, that'll be the version of what if we made all our free throws? What if we made more fast break points? Panalo sana tayo. That'll be in the parallel universe.
Exactly. Baka ganyan yung conversation sa counterparts natin sa kabila. So let us know in the comments if ever napanood nyo man yan. Don't expect to. Pero isa pang gusto kong sabihin as perimeter production, I know at the end of the day, UP still beat us by 1 point kasi nga yung mga Harold Alarcon shots or yung mga elbow jump shots or yung mga sa gilid and all of that. But I think it was good for us not to get beat by a lot sa perimeter. We already know we have the edge sa paint. That's why I didn't recognize the paint as a key factor. It would have been catastrophic if natalo tayo sa paint. But I mean, for me, perimeter, it helped. Especially with the 3-point shots. Dungo had 2, Jacob, that last one, and then si Kian din, diba? So parang sabi ko, we're not shying away from this. And marami pa sana to kung kunwari pumapasok kay Mason, kay Earl, kay JC, kay Forrest. So there is really that conscious effort for us to go for perimeter shooting, which is good because, yes, hindi naman lagi papasok. And maybe that's what brings me confidence when we discuss game 2. Kasi if I will rate how we played overall in this game, dito great game to see yung optics, yung offense, the way, if let's say yung casual basketball ledger ka, parang hindi ka makuha. Parang alam mo maraming kulang, but I guess what the stat sheets and what the usual visuals wouldn't suggest is yung effort on defense. Kung hindi maganda laro natin, hindi rin natin papagandahin yung laro ng kalaban, and that always gives us a chance to get the win at the end of the day. Kasi, for example, that second quarter spell, diba? We scored only 8 points. we had a lot of turnovers in that quarter. In many cases, when you tell people if you only score 8 points in the finals, you're toast. Baka tamba ka na. Or kung man
Talo ka.
mo, nahabol ka na. We were only up by 1. So meaning if kung 8 points lang tayo and assuming usually 20 points yung kalaban, edi dapat lamang na sila by double digits. But we also held UP to just 12 points. So I guess that's where
the fourth,
that's really what
that's the swing.
Cancellated. Parang hindi na parang hindi, pati yung second quarter, sorry. So 12 points in the fourth and then 12 points din sila in the second. So parang when we were struggling offensively, we also just made sure that UP wouldn't take full advantage of that by recovering on defense. I guess that's what the dean also said in the quickie, which you can check out. Sabi niya na, more on the emphasis na, okay, hindi mo mapasok yung free throws, okay lang yan, but balik sa defense, parang ganun. Just negate
that was
negatives.
That was personally my key to this game. I know I didn't mind our offense so much last night, I know, but I like that we didn't force things, which is good, even though we weren't executing as well, but as long as we weren't forcing, so Kian was playing into the flow of things, right? That was good for me. I think defensively, that's where we excelled. Like I said, there were no easy shots for UP last night. We made them earn every shot, made them earn those baskets. Harold had to work for all those 24, at least for all 24 points of his. He had to work for those, and that's all you can ask for a defense. We made them uncomfortable. We made them, go away from what their rhythms, go away from what they do well, made them uncomfortable. And that's what I was hoping we'd do. That was one of the things I've been noticing the first round, second round, that we have to make teams uncomfortable. If you put them in their comfort zone, we have a chance to win any game. Additional thoughts, Brian?
Sabi lang ni Marco from our Instagram, si Marco Salsan, 21 is greater than 34 kasi nabanggit mo yung 34 ni Harold eh. So I guess that's a good way to look at it. I mean, parang Lasal Mats remix, parang yung 2 is greater than 3, which we don't want to happen this season. We will get to that. And siguro everyone getting involved, so banggitin ko na lang yung sinabi ni N90 1016. Teamwork. Yeah. That's really basketball, what it's all about. Siguro useless mag 40 points, 30 points if ikaw lang yung bubuhat and not everyone else. Ang hirap manalo pag ganun. Kailangan yata 80 points yun, man. Magmalakobi ka, 91 points in the Village game for that to happen.
Yeah.
Which is almost impossible.
My biggest pet peeve in sports, not saying ganun si Harold, but are the stats sheet chasers. If you can call them that. Those who care, those who count the stats after every game. But, what happened at the scoreboard, that's all that matters. All right, Brian, that wraps up our conversation about the first game of the finals. We'll be talking about game 2. But first, let's get this. A lot of classic moments, classic performances in the final. But if you want a classic look, classic timeless moments like we saw in the game yesterday, check out Ibarra Manila. Check them out on Instagram, on their Facebook for their classic designs. And it's a very Lasallian brand. Check them out at the DLSA office, where a portion of their proceeds go to helping Lasallian athletes. And I do believe, Brian, we also, before we go, we'll have a couple of shout-outs na kailangan, required shout-outs if we want to, kasi swerte daw. You have the list for us?
Yeah. The Spiritu family, Lucky Charm for Bilen ni Willie, of course, and then the Abraham family.
If we win the championship, Brian, I will lobby that Sophie gets Rookie of the Year.
Pwede.
We will lobby as hard as we can.
Sorry, Collins. Bawi na
Sophie earned it.
Collins, Rookie FSA of the Year.
Yan.
Kasi apparently pag local ka ba, pag foreigner ka, hindi ka MVP diba? Best FSA ka.
Yep.
Pero pag MVP ka lang dapat nun. Pag second ka, wala na yung best FSA. So, ganun din kay Collins. Ano ka na lang, Rookie FSA of the Year. And then yung Abadam family then, shout out. I think when
very nice people.
Attendance,
Tapos ang dad ko nung NU series they were good people.
And they follow the show then yun nga si Earl also guested twice. Maybe when he has the time, baka busy. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, so yun yung mga shout. Well, also one shout out to
And
my girlfriend, si Angel.
yeah,
Taga-UP siya, pero parang napapa-cheer siya sa Lasal for more reasons than one.
ganyan ka galing ka magmahal, Brian. Napapacheer talaga sa kalaban yung girlfriend mo. And to wrap up the shout-outs, Joshua and sa Pangilinan, and Carlo and Sarisian. Thanks for watching and support the show. Now, to game 2, Brian. UP is an unfamiliar situation, focusing on UP first. They've never lost a game 1, like we said. Their 5 years of making the finals. They've won every single game 1, so they never had their backs behind the ball. We've beaten them 3 straight now this season.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes me a bit nervous at the same time. Law of averages and all. At the same time, there's always a chance that they're due. That's what makes me nervous. Mm-hmm. I was saying before the first round, the biggest chance of UP beating us is everyone steps up for them at the same time. Everything goes well for them. Imagine the Harold and Ray Mugat gets in. Gani Stevens finds a way to make a basket. All these guys are contributing. If they come out the team effort where everything clicks for them, we'll be in trouble. We'll see each other, and madaming ko file ng sick leaves for Wednesday to make the game 3. Is that the same thing that makes it, or is there other ways you see UP getting back into the series?
They can get back into the series if we shoot ourselves in the foot. Like, they don't really have to play well, but if we present the opportunities to them, if we make more turnovers than we did, if we play sloppily on defense, that would allow everyone to pick up the confidence. So, naalala ko yung mga sinasabi ni Vic in the previous episodes, starting when we were even losing to Adamson and FEU. If we put up the effort defensively, right, that means mahirapan yung everyone to settle into their rhythm, and that's what happened also in game 1. Yes, one player seemed to have us solved, but it's not 5 or it's not even 3 to that degree. So parang sabi ko, okay, if we just keep on playing, if we can improve from this game 1 performance, it would be difficult for us to lose game 2. That's how I'm seeing it. I'm not saying, or I'm not going out confidently and saying na, nanalo na tayo. Hindi. I'm wary of this UP team. I think the key for them now is to get everyone involved in the first quarter and not just rely on Alarcon or anyone else na isa lang who will do the job. Kasi ganun nangyari. I think UP would have been in a hole if Alarcon didn't heat up in the first quarter. Because most of their points are already coming from him at that point. And then, yun nga, he's coming off the bench. I'm not sure if they will tweak the rotation from their side and have him start. Because, diba? I mean, you earn 34 points. The question is, it works, you're coming off the bench, but at the same time, what if you start from the get-go? So those will be the questions the UP coaching staff would have to figure out for themselves. They have 3 days. Tama naman talaga na everyone has to get involved, but I'm not saying na yun lang yung way for them to win. Of course, if we present them opportunities, kahit sabihin mo mag 34 points ulit si Harold, and then those would be easier shots than what he did yesterday, that means that everyone else can get involved kasi parang mag-aano yung defense natin. Kung pangit yung defense natin, that means that everyone will have their looks sa UP, and giving them better looks obviously means better chances to win. So, doon ako sa point na yun, na if we also slip up, they can beat us even if they don't really make an extra effort.
Yeah, I really think they'll look at the critical part of the third quarter where they were up 9 and lost that lead. I guess Kate LaSalle's one of the strengths, playing from behind, knowing how to play in those situations. We've had experience with that several times this season. It's great. Finally paid off that we know how to come back in those kinds of games. I guess one critical key for me is we have to win the paint in the next game.
Yeah.
If we can have Luis Palalo contribute both ends of the floor, we have Mason can make some key contributions. Doesn't have to have top score, but making on both ends. And Mike can sign off his UAP career with a with a great performance, because he was quite quiet in game one, but even so, with a great performance, I think that okay. I know we have the wings. Maybe not. Maybe Doyle will be checked in the next game, but they'll open up things for the Earl, the JC, and of course Jacob is there, and our guards are there. But if we can control that front court, diba? In any battle or war, Bryce, diba? Always hold the high ground, diba? If we can control the high ground for this game, is that painted area. If we can control that, we can control that. I think that will give us a great chance to win. Even though we could say UP heats up from 3. I'm just trying to jinx it now, but even if he heats up from 3, I think if we can win that battle, we stamp our dominance there, we'll have a good shot to really take it in 2 games.
Yeah, nabanggit mo nga yung front court, and it interests me the most that parang nangyari din yung mini breakout ni Maruka. I mean, siya lang literal na front court ng UP in this game. He had some excellent matchups. I think he did better than Omar John, kasi naalala ko we had that conscious effort of putting our wings on Omar John, and we were doing the same.
Yeah.
At one point, it even was Jacob Cortez taking on
Oo nga. Kinawawa siya dun, but
I was hoping na out of balance si Naruka, but credit to him. He executed against a smaller defender. I'm not sure if Mike will take him. Maybe that's an adjustment we can see, but I don't mind actually if basta siya lang, kasi I think if let's say Gani Stevens gets more involved on offense, maybe Sean Alter gets some offensive touches, that would be difficult for us. Not impossible, of course, but that really just reiterates what we are saying na if you get more players involved for UP, that would be more problematic for us. And that's the same naman then for us. And medyo okay pa nga na you see the likes of Mason, EJ Earl, JC not really performing well. Kasi like what you were saying, if UP is due, maybe these guys are due too. I mean,
cancel out.
The finals game too. And if we see improvements from their side, either on offense or both offense and defense, can go a long way. Not saying again that automatic panalo if that's the case, but malaking bagay yun na they can find the ways. Mason had 3 looks, one of them was an air ball, but it won't happen every time. And remember in that NU game he also struggled, but I think after his 4th, 5th shot or 6th shot, doon na pumapasok, and maybe that's the key. I don't see us naman, didn't see us naman in game 1 na say na alam mo yun, parang I wouldn't be too crestfallen had we lost that, because I was not particularly satisfied with the offensive outputs, but the defense really shone for us.
And I guess beyond the X's and O, Bryce, one thing I'm looking more to wrap up the episode is really the mental side of things. We know that UP hasn't been in a situation before, and we don't know how they respond, but what we know is UP is a mentally strong team. They know how to hang tight in difficult situations. So we can expect a strong response from UP. They're not a team that seems to fold, that we can expect to fold in these kinds of situations. And we can't worry about, but we can't worry about what they're going to do. We can only worry about how we prepare ourselves. So I really hope this team is mentally ready. Where job's not done, right? We have to have that mindset where it's really one more. We're not satisfied. We took game 1 in a great fashion, but it doesn't end here. And more than just being satisfied, it's something that gives you more hunger to carry on and take that game 2. I remember 2007 when that UE team was 14-0. We played the stepladder. We beat them somehow. We pulled off an upset in game 1. In game 2, they mentally collapsed, and we were stronger mentally, and we ran away with that game. It wasn't even close in game 2. So we can expect a mentally strong UP, but I want to carry over from what we experienced in game 1 to drive our mentality and hunger to make sure the series ends and won't take it to a game 3 on Wednesday. Any final thoughts for you, Bri, going into game 2?
Okay, just a note from someone who sent us a message on Instagram, si Animo101, shout out to him.
Thank you for your message.
sabi niya, I am an alumni of both schools and I am often seated on the UP side. And I have to say, this was the first game in the past 3 finals. I felt that the TLSU crowd was much better than that of UP's. And this is from my view on the UP side. So that was quite an interesting observation. I replied to him. Sabi ko, kasi diba, we all knew, tayo as LaSalle fans, we all acknowledge that sometimes the LaSalle crowd is hard to please. Mag-cheer lang yan kapag may run or talagang kailangan na. I mean, unlike the UP crowd, which we commend as well, like, para silang ultras yung energy nila, hindi nauubusan. Diba?
Parang
In recent seasons.
90s or 2000s UP cheer dance but for 40 minutes instead of a 2-minute routine.
Exactly.
Parang
Yun
ganun.
yung in-extend nila. In-extend nila.
Di lang halftime.
So,
buong game na.
Ngayon, baliktad niya. Parang pag halftime, di na sila nagpa-perform masyado eh. But yeah, that's really an interesting observation. Kasi diba, we talk about the players and the game, but we also have to acknowledge the influence of the fans. I think Sina Earl, when he guested, he mentioned the factor of the crowd. Si Mike Phillips, he always wants the crowd pumped up. I think he plays well
Of course.
when the crowd is behind them loudly. So I guess for fellow LaSalle fans who will make their attendance check in Game 2, pa-check muna kayo kay Mr. Lasal.
Attendance.
Hanapin niyo siya. Pakita kayo. Yeah, but if you're in attendance, just make yourself count then. But obviously, responsibly. We would advocate heckling. Alam ko masaya minsan mag-heckle, pero like what Brother Bernie sent out in a memo too, like, just support the team. And yun nga, I think make it to a point that mananegate yung edge, because I really felt that in the first 2 seasons of the final series with UP. Alam mo, magiging factor yung crowd ng UP. I think their players like to play with their crowd behind them. But maybe it was also a factor. I don't know. Only the players can affirm this. But if the LaSalle crowd match or even perform better than the UP crowd, then that hunger extends not just from the players. That hunger is extended sa community. Alam natin that players will win or lose games, but at the same time, you're there. You're part of the 18,000 plus crowd that are taking to the game. So, if you can help the team that way and also, erode some confidence the opposing team would have, that would mean a lot. And I said that, I keep on saying it a lot, but yeah, it's always good to, parang ito yung version of free throws, di ba? I mean, with the local crowd. And maybe bilin pala si Gio, before I pass it on to you. Pag-greet daw,
I did already. Kasama na yan.
Sorry.
Yeah,
sorry.
Kasama yan. Yeah. No problem.
Na-miss ko
We
pala.
give them twice. Libre naman eh. It's fine.
Parang
it's fine.
Kung paano tayo manalo sa finals, we have to do it twice.
So, and to cap off what you said, Brian, I think what's unique about the UAP as a league is that you watch a game and it's not a spectator sport. I like to call it that. The UAP, the crowd, when it's a chance to have an effect on the game. Imagine that. You may not be playing on the court, but through your support, through your cheers, through how you support the team, or the 18,000 in MOA or Araneta, the way you cheer and back the team in those crucial moments when they're down, when they're struggling, and you get up and cheer, that has a big, big effect on the players. Imagine you can do your part. That's your role in playing. We all have roles in this team. On this team, they have roles. Mike has a role. Jake has a role. Make those big threes. We have players who, kahit mag-high five ka lang, everyone has a role, as they to say. But as a crowd, as a fan, has a role to play in championship game. So hopefully we can see you play that role on Sunday. Hopefully, cheer your heart out. Hopefully the team can pull through for us. We don't want everyone filing sick leaves on Wednesday or being absent from class. Ayaw natin yun. Christmas season na, busy na yung mga tao. Baka magkasa pa ng Christmas. Christmas party ako eh. Huwag na. Traffic pa.
Mahalaga rin ang attendance sa work at sa school.
Yes. So let's see. And we hope you can also attend our post-game coverage, no matter the result of Game 2. So we'll see you for the Quiver Quickie. We'll ask you and we'll send us your thoughts on the game, and we'll catch you for the main episode right after. And hopefully it'll be a happy one for us. So Brian, thank you for joining. Thank you. So answer that phone when I call you and see. And hopefully you can answer that call on Sunday and get it done. I always say, you guys, keep the faith. Animo Lasal.